detaching so you can attract the right guy.
This is going to be so good. We have helped you, ladies, master detachment before, but today we're going to talk about something that's going to help you out even more. So, this is for the ladies that maybe get triggered in dating and marriage. You're anxious, you're struggling with the anxious thoughts with the guy, you're dealing with men that are breadcrumbing you, that are inconsistent, that are just not showing up in the way where they want to spoil the crap out of you and marry you. So if this resonates with you, you are in the right place.
And I'm Coach B, former lifelong bachelor, here with my amazing wife. You can go ahead and tell them a little about
Yes,
yourself.
for the new people here, what's up? I'm Natasha. I was a former single mama, four little kiddos, and I went through a whole bunch of trauma and loss, had to do a lot of inner healing, a lot of mastering my own nervous system. And now I actually help women in this area specifically. I specialize in helping women re regulate their feminine energy so you can live that soft life, your hormones, and your nervous system. And to date, we have helped over 1,000 women in the area of dating and marriage just in this last year. We've had engagements and marriages every single month. Women are leaving bad, toxic relationships, they're healing, and now they're living their best, hot, rich, soft girl life. So if that is you, you are in the right place.
Yes. So we're going to jump right into the points. But
Okay.
before we do, make sure you get your questions ready because
Yes.
we want to answer as many questions as possible, help
Mhm.
you ladies out today.
Yeah, and I mean, just the fact that we have a former lifelong bachelor
Yes.
here, right?
Hey,
And a former single mom, and
yes.
now we are living our best life. This is your number one spot to really
Mm,
get that healing and really get the healthy, healed masculine's perspective and the healthy, healed
yes.
feminine perspective,
Yes.
right? So, yes, this is so good. All right, let's jump into it.
Let's go.
So, on previous live streams and videos on our YouTube channel, we've talked about, how to detach, how to go no contact, how to really re-regulate your nervous system, especially if you're anxious and you feel like you have those racing thoughts, you get hyper triggered, you obsess about the guy, you get attached really easily. You're the one that's in that anxious chasing mode, that masculine energy mode. And one of the things that we've spoken of before was you got to heal your nervous system, right? So today, the point that I really want to reiterate is this is another way that you can actually really help your nervous system detach from the wrong person. And before I tell you what that thing is, I just want you to know and understand how your nervous system works so you don't think you're crazy. Because sometimes, especially, my ladies that are maybe have gone through a divorce, you're in a situationship, you're in a relationship that's just on the rocks right now, or you find dating absolutely exhausting, right? Because it's just, it causes a lot of, trauma and drama and triggers and all that stuff. I want you to understand that a lot of this has to do just with how your sympathetic nervous system has been programmed. And that's, let's call that your monkey brain. So that is how you've evolved, and it's only there to keep you safe and alive. It's completely unconscious. You don't realize it, but it's there to keep you safe. So what happens is a lot of times it's when you're reacting, when you're getting triggered by a guy, when you start obsessing, in a relationship, you're feeling stressed, you're feeling insecure. It's not that there's something wrong with you, babe. It's just you have old programs running. And then what happens is you get triggered really easily and it bypasses your logical mind. And then you react. It's like that the part of your nervous system that just causes you to react. And the reason why you should care about that is because then you can recognize, okay, I'm not crazy. It's just old programs that are making me, trigger, get hyper triggered, react in ways that are not in alignment with that soft life that I want to live. Now, if you've been through trauma, divorce, childhood stuff, like most people, been through a loss of a relationship, okay, just haven't dated great guys, those are traumas to the nervous system. And so until you heal that and do some of the things I'm going to teach you today, your nervous system, your default will be to just react, just to be triggered. And the reason why you don't want to stay like that is because one, you're going to chase away healthy masculine men. And my husband talked about that in a second. You'll chase away healthy masculine men, even if you're a dime, even if you love God and go to church. Okay. If you're hyper triggered, men are going to run from you. Okay. But also, your hormones are going to be stressed. This is why a lot of women have adrenal fatigue and PCOS and stubborn belly hormone weight issues, because your nervous system is constantly in that hyper stressed mode.
Yeah, and it's so important as you're detaching to really understand your nervous system because,
Yeah.
like you said, what happens is when you're reacting in the moment, it goes right past any logic. So
Yeah.
doing that, you're capable of doing anything in that moment. But
Yeah.
what you'll usually do is what your default is.
Yep.
If you're used to making excuses, if you're used to blaming others, whatever it is, you'll go right into that. Then once you come back, once you might go into that for 3, 4, 5 minutes. Then once you're able to catch your
Yeah.
breath and think, now you're looking like I didn't mean to say this. I don't know how I got to this point. I apologize. And men and people are willing to forgive, but it's the patterns that you operate in that makes it hard because now it's a part of you. It becomes who you are, even though you're a nice person. You do so much for people. It's just those moments in your life when your nervous system just responds and it's programmed to respond a certain way because
Yeah.
our nervous system doesn't just respond anyway. It's how we've been programmed since we were born,
Yeah.
how we grew up, how we've responded in relationships. And if you don't change it, you put yourself in a situation where you lose relationships, you lose opportunities potentially, you lose jobs. It's like, okay, people know how to push your button, is what you'll say. They know how to push my button, but what kind of re-regulating the nervous system does, it puts you in a position where you don't have buttons. People can't control you.
That's
It's not
good.
like, okay, I know how to make them upset. No, it's no way you can make me upset to the point where I lose control in the situation. So that's why it's so important not only to understand, but to reprogram and re-regulate your nervous system because it changes things and people in a lot of situations don't want to be around you because not because you're a bad person, but because of that moment where you can't control yourself for 3, 4, 5 minutes that makes people just distance themselves right away.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good. And of course, we're going to show you how to do that today. But another reason why this is so important, you should care about this, especially in the dating phase and in your marriage, is because you are going to be attached. You're going to be attached to the guy. A lot of times you're going to be attached to the wrong guy. That's not your husband. And even in marriage, you're going to be stressed and anxious. You're in a relationship, you're stressed, you're anxious. You're dating, you're stressed, you're anxious. That's not a fun way to live. Like, I don't know about you ladies, but I'm about to turn 40 in a few weeks, in a couple of weeks. Oh my gosh. And I'm just at this point in my life where I do not want to live that life anymore. Where you're anxious and you're stressed and you're attached to the wrong things. And it's not even just in dating and in relationships, but you get you get attached to wrong situations and outcomes, and everything just stresses you out. You feel overwhelmed about everything. Okay. So how do we change this? This is what I want you to know. Okay. If you only remember one thing today, remember this one thing. This is going to help you heal the nervous system and really help reprogram your subconscious mind. When you reprogram your subconscious mind, by the way, for my new people here, subconscious mind, that's like 95% of everything that you do. So even at a head knowledge, if you're consciously choosing to date different guys, at an embodiment level, at a nervous system level, at an energy level, that's your subconscious mind. And that is doing something totally different. And that is based on your old programming. So if you want to switch up your subconscious mind so you can, stay detached, so you can stay unbothered, so you can stay in your yummy, delicious, soft, magnetic, feminine energy, even if you're a single mama, like how I was, the number one thing that's going to help you reprogram your subconscious mind is actually repetition. Repetition. I want you to remember that one word, repetition. Now, this is actual neuroscience, okay? So like like I've said before, we've talked about healing the nervous system. That's something I really specialize in the Feminine Energy Academy. But then the other thing that we really focus on in there is repetition. Repetition. And the reason why you need repetition is that's what actually rewires your neural networks, is repetition. Now, there's a specific way you want to do that, but I just want you to know that you, by brainwashing yourself, like literally brainwashing yourself with content like, on YouTube, like with what, on this channel, what we teach you, or in the Feminine Energy Academy, where I have audio activations, that repetition is going to reprogram your
Yes.
subconscious mind so that your default is not that monkey brain.
Yes.
It's not that just reaction, hyper triggered mode where, you're just reacting and feeling anxious and stressed in survival mode all the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's good you brought up repetition, because what repetition does is it breeds mastery. The more you
Yes.
do something, and I think about athletes all the time when we
Yeah.
think about Kobe with the Mamba mentality, and we
Yeah.
think about those that are at the top of the game, of course, MJ. It's like they practice the same thing over and over. And when you're in that process of mastering something, because you want to
Mhm.
master your emotions, you want to master your
Mhm.
nervous system, so
Yes.
it's able to adjust and things are on automatic. When guys are playing basketball,
Yeah.
when Jordan and Kobe are playing, they're so used to shooting one shot that they don't even have to think about it. They practice the shot 1,000 times. And you want to be in a situation, even in the area of your relationship,
Yeah.
where your nervous system has
Yeah.
done something so much. And we can do this mentally without a situation. You don't
Yes.
need situations to see how you'll respond. I mean, that'll show you how you'll respond, but to practice, to
Yeah.
master something, you can have situations mentally that you're able to respond to. And the more you practice, the more you master it. So when the
Mhm.
situation comes, you've seen this so much
Yeah.
that your nervous system automatically responds
Yeah.
in the correct way. But we have to make sure we get the repetition in so we can master it. Otherwise, if we're just like, okay, I'll do a little work and then I'll do a little work this week, next week,
Yeah.
it's not consistent, then you'll get responses
Mhm.
that aren't consistent. You'll get inconsistent results in how you respond. One day you respond correctly, like, okay, man, I passed that test. The next day you snap out because your nervous system hasn't been reprogrammed totally. You're
Yeah.
on the right path, but it's about getting more repetition in
Yeah.
and being serious about mastering it. Otherwise, it can pop up at any time because
Mhm.
you haven't taken control over it.
That's so good. And even scripture talks about that, right? Like a
Mhm.
wise woman builds up and a foolish woman tears down.
Mm.
And ladies, I want you to catch this. And honey, maybe you can reiterate this from a masculine's perspective.
Yeah.
Ladies, if you go off the wall, it could just be one time and that can completely destroy your
Yes.
relationship.
Yes.
And even if you guys are dating and maybe he was thinking about marriage
Yes.
and then you just show a totally different side of him where you are just like an atomic bomb,
Yes. Yes.
right? And I understand this because this is what I've had to heal myself,
Yes.
because you haven't healed your triggers, you haven't healed your man wounds, or you just completely shut down,
Yes.
right? Like some women, it just passive aggressive, cold, like stone cold Steve Austin.
Mm.
You are just so
Yes.
cold. And we know this because we coach so many
Yes.
women, and so many of the women are beautiful, they're smart, they're successful, they love God, and they can't understand why they're still single,
Yes.
right? And men can feel your energy,
Yes.
and he is constantly analyzing your energy
Mm.
and determining, hey, is this somebody I want a wife,
Yes.
or is this someone I just want to stay in a situationship
Yeah.
with? Maybe you can talk
And
about that.
no, that's so good, because it really doesn't matter how good you look, how
Yeah.
sweet of a person you are, because the looks will attract them.
Yeah.
Your personality will have them say, okay, maybe this is someone I can get to know. But
Yeah.
if it could be one time that you show that you're not able to control yourself to the
Mhm.
point where it just gets out of control. Now, everyone has a moment.
Yeah.
Everyone has,
Yeah.
you may say something that you don't mean, but
Yeah.
when you're showing that you don't have any self control and you take things a certain place with a man, a
Mhm.
healthy masculine energy man, we understand that going back and forth, we can't win. We
Yeah.
understand that me trying to make you a better person in this moment, I don't
Yeah.
win. This is who you are. So what a man is so simple. If a man
Yeah.
sees who you are, a man will make a decision. And that's good or bad. So if we
Yeah.
see that you're a wife, we'll make a decision quickly and say, okay, I want to marry her. But
Yeah.
if we see that you're someone who lacks self control,
Yeah.
and maybe you're approaching them in the wrong way, saying stuff, demasculating, maybe you're
Yeah.
disrespectful,
Yeah.
a man will make a decision so quick, step away
Yeah.
from that situation, and then others will wonder, like, okay, how is she single? She's so
Yeah.
beautiful. Men, I don't, man, he fumbled the bag. whatever the case. Men don't care about that because healthy masculine energy men know that they're able to attract
Mhm.
any type of woman they desire.
Yeah.
They can walk over to her not because of what they have, but because of who they are. And character is so important. So that's why re-regulating your nervous system and
Mhm.
handling that is key because we've seen it. I've
Mhm.
seen it where women just, snap out on a man. And we had a situation in the public recently where an Olympic runner
Oh
had a
yeah.
situation with her
Yeah.
boyfriend, and we see how that went as well. Now, of course, he's a nice guy, so he's not going to publicly shame her, but that can change the nature of the relationship
Mhm.
in any situation. I don't care if you're a superstar or just a girl next door. It's so
Yes.
important because healthy masculine energy men won't stick around for that.
And the thing is, when your nervous system isn't healed, you're going to be attached to the wrong guys. So what Coach B is saying is a healthy masculine man will just not even waste his time.
Yeah.
He'll move on because he has other options, right?
Yeah.
That's what makes him high value. But if you are still anxious and have that attachment style and your nervous system is dysregulated, you are going to attract the unhealthy men, and the unhealthy men will stick around. What they'll do
Yeah.
is you
Yeah.
guys will be off and on,
Yes.
off and on. You guys will come together, trauma bond,
Mm.
have that chemistry,
Yeah.
release that dopamine and oxytocin, be attached to each other. You will go off on him. He's going to run away. You're going to go chasing after him. And then you just have this toxic bond. So instead, what we encourage our ladies is take a break,
Yes.
go through a detox period. Don't just go no contact and detach. You need to go no contact, detach, and heal that
Yes.
nervous system. And one of the things that's going to help you is that repetition, because you are constantly brainwashing yourself anyway. You're brainwashing yourself on social media, depending on what you're watching. You're listening to your girlfriends complain about their guys, right? You're all of these things, your parents, your mom complaining about men, all this stuff. That's you brainwashing yourself. So what you got to do is you got to brainwash yourself in a way that you understand, and you're feeling worthy of that healthy masculine energy man and that healthy, amazing marriage. So that is a foundational part of the Feminine Energy Academy, is the brainwashing. That is an area I really specialize in, where I have audio activations that the women listen to morning and night, especially first thing in the morning and before you go to bed, and sometimes during the day when they need help pattern interrupting. And what that does is it rewires the brain to what healthy love feels like, what healthy, secure love feels like, where it feels good and safe in your nervous system, where you can let go of triggers and things that are bothering you. And what will happen is you will be in your soft, delicious, magnetic, feminine energy that healthy masculine men are completely obsessed with. They're addicted. And there's not a lot of women that are embodied in this energy, which makes you stand out so much.
Yes.
Yeah.
And sometimes you may be wondering, like Coach B, Coach Tosh, it's just a couple of guys that I've dealt with. It's not really me, but it's you if you're the type that's always rehearsing the narrative of what someone else did, how they did this, or you feel like you need to go online and do a story time. I just got to let them know what that does. And this is a sidebar. When you're doing that or having those conversations, those healthy men won't even approach you. When you're doing story time online, men will approach you to, not healthy men. Men will approach you to get something out of you. But that type of behavior, what men are looking at is like, okay, when I'm in that situation with you, when we start dating, how are you going to respond when things don't go right? Are you going to go tell the world? Are you going to put me out there, front me off, trying to demasculate me, trying to make me look a certain way? And that's the nervous system. That's your natural response. It's like, okay, let me defend myself instead of let me see what's going on the inside of me that I can change. So if you're in that defense mode where you have to protect yourself, where you feel like, men don't respect you, or, they do this to women all the time, then it's something that's inside of you. Both can be true. You can be around men that aren't respectful, but it's you that's attracting that type of man. So you need to do the work if you want to position yourself, because a lot of ladies that watch our channel that are in the Feminine Energy Academy desire to be married, desire to be in healthy relationships, but you feel like you've been beat down so much where it's like, I'm just tired. I don't have the energy to do it. It's too much work. The work is always internal, and the work is not just around relationships, but this is life work, because it shows up in the area of money. It shows up in your health. It shows up on your job. that natural response, that nervous system response where things just go haywire one time and you see yourself going around in cycles of things were so good. Now, I'm starting over. It's in relationships, job, and in your health.
Yeah. And when we're saying work, we're not talking about hustle harder, work harder. Work for the feminine is going inwards. It's
Yes.
inner work. It's
Yes.
actually learning how to calm down. It's
Mm.
learning how to calm the nervous system,
Yes.
learning how to be in flow when you're in dating and in your marriage, where you're just moving through your day unbothered, not triggered, not obsessing, not having those anxious and obsessive thoughts. It's a beautiful place to
Yes.
be, let me say. But you're not going to be able to get to that place if your nervous system is stuck in survival mode.
Mm.
If your nervous system is stuck in survival mode, ladies, I'm talking to you right now because this used to be me too. Okay. When your nervous system is stuck in survival mode, you're going to have hormone issues.
Mm.
You're going to have weight issues. A lot of times, health issues. Okay. You're going to have trouble sleeping. You're going to be constantly obsessing. You're not going to know how to talk to men
Mm.
properly, right? You're going to be like vomiting, emotionally vomiting on them because you don't know how to process your emotions. You don't have that awareness, and you just feel stressed all the time. Like, that's just not a cute way to live, right? It's just not sexy, ladies. Okay, we are in a new era where we get to be soft
Mm.
and magnetic and calm and unbothered. And we have a lot of ladies right now in the Feminine Energy Academy that are actually dating amazing men.
Mhm.
Like, and so that's the other issue, or the other time that you want to really stay detached, is where you do have, and because they're doing the stuff that we teach. So now they have multiple men that are seriously dating them for marriage,
Mm.
and that can feel very overwhelming to a woman's nervous system,
Mm.
as when you have multiple men that want to date you for
Yes.
marriage. And so we have to help them re-regulate through that too. And you want to stay detached in that
Yes.
place too. Not detached from a
Right.
place of you have the wall up. That's
Mm.
not detachment at all. Okay. Detachment is you are calm, you have healthy boundaries, but your heart is open. You are so open. You are so open to receiving
Yes.
as a woman, and men can feel that energy. But it's not going to destroy your self-worth
Mm.
if the guy, doesn't text you back or
Yes.
doesn't call you back.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's so key. We'll get to a couple of these questions shortly, but
Yeah.
I just wanted to add on when you're talking about re-regulating the nervous system, and it's so key as you're detached in each part of the relationship, because what happens with
Yes.
our ladies in the Feminine Energy Academy, they come in, a lot of them are in situationships, so they're re-regulating their nervous system around that as they're
Yeah.
getting out of those situationships, and now they're healing. So now it's a new level of re-regulating your nervous system, because now you're going into new territory. Then you're getting into a relationship. That's new
Yeah.
territory again, because
Yeah.
each step can be a challenge. Like, okay, what do I do? How do I deal with this? He said this,
Yeah.
he's a great guy, but he told me that he wants to go 95-5 with me. He's going to pay for 95% of the things. I'm going to pay for
Yeah.
five. Is he a provider? Like, all these things are things that you have to go through within your nervous system, that you have to re-regulate, but you have to stay detached, because it's so easy as women, as you say, women are just monogamous by nature. So
Yeah.
you're attaching at every step. You're like, okay, this is the one, everything is great. Then you're going through that. He did something wrong. How do I respond? So it's important not just to come into the Feminine Energy Academy and say, okay, I got what I need, I'm ready. No, we have ladies that are engaged, that are married, that are in there because life happens every day.
Mhm.
And every day you need the tools necessary so you can have the right response. And it's so important to be in a community of women, a
Mhm.
community of people that are doing the work so you can help each other. That's what I love about the
Yeah.
Feminine Energy Academy personally.
Yeah, that's so good. Because basically, what we want to do is we want to help women, and this is what we actually do, is help you get to a place where you're securely attached,
Mm.
right? So, in a marriage, for example, like in our marriage, we have a secure attached
Mm.
marriage relationship where it's you're your own person, but your nervous system is calm, it's
Mm.
regulated, you're not hyper triggered,
Yeah.
coming at each other, you're not feeling insecure in the marriage, but you can still get close with each other,
Mm.
right? And so that's a place where we want to bring people. And that's a place where your hormones are going to be calm,
Yes.
your nervous system's going to be calm, you're going to be healthier physically, you're going to look better as a woman. Okay. This is what makes you age in reverse. And you're just going to attract healthy men. which is what you deserve, babe. Even if you've been through a divorce, even if you're 65 years old watching this, we help all these types of women. Yeah.
And I want you to answer this first question if you
Okay.
could. It's from NW. She says, "I never thought that shutting down was passive aggressive?" Question
Yes.
mark.
Yeah, so if you tend to shut down, just get it, pay attention to your patterns, right? If you tend to shut down, that is an avoidant attachment pattern. And so what that is that nervous system just doesn't feel safe in that moment, so it just completely shuts down. So you know how you have fight, flight, fawn responses? Well, and in that freeze mode, that's like that freeze mode. So just notice if you tend to, when you're in a relationship, get like that, where maybe things are going good and then you just shut down, completely shut down. I've done that too, right? A lot of people have done that. And then or just notice if you attract men that do that, right? Because that's that avoidant pattern where you're in the relationship, you're dating, and then all of a sudden he just shuts down completely. And it's not that he's a bad guy, it's just it's his nervous system responding, and he's not aware of it. Right? So this is what we specialize in, is helping you become aware of it, so that when you're conversating with each other, you're dating, you're in your marriage, you don't have that shutdown mode, passive aggressive mode. And the flip side of it is you're not anxiously chasing after people.
And just even a note for most guys in those situations where it's a conversation that's needed or something happened and you just want to talk, it's a difference between the guy shutting down and a guy just needing time to process things.
Yes.
Because most guys need time to process. Now, if they're telling you, okay, let me get a moment and then we can reconnect, that's one thing. But if they're just like, okay, I don't want to talk about it, they just leave, they never bring it up, they just continue on. Because I dealt in that pattern as well, where it was okay, I don't want to talk about it because I didn't know how to process and have those conversations at one point. So it's definitely a difference between needing space in the moment and being passive aggressive to the point where you don't want to bring this up. Let's move on, act like it didn't happen. Let's have new conversations. So you have to be aware and you don't get into that anxious attachment style, like you said, chasing him down, trying to get him to talk. No, either way, if he's passive aggressive or if he needs space, you have to stay detached in that moment, in that conversation, and allow him to come to you. You not running to him. And if he doesn't come to you, then you make a decision. Okay, is this the type of relationship that I want to be in? But you never chase him in any situation. Chase him down so he can talk, because you'll never get the response you want when you're chasing a man.
Oh my gosh, so good. I want to go a little bit deeper with that.
Yes, please.
And because all your energy is coming towards him. When you're chasing after a man with your thoughts, obsessing, you're texting him, you're blowing up his phone, you're stalking his social media, your husband, you're coming at him, yelling at him, he is going to run away from you, because all that energy is coming towards him, and you are in your masculine energy, babe, as a woman. I don't care if you're beautiful and you love God and all this stuff. You coming at a man like that, he is going to move away from you. Okay. Now, there's two things that are going to help you with this. One is re-regulating your nervous system, like nervous system healing, which is what we talk about and what we specialize in the Feminine Energy Academy, but also skilling up. So a lot of times women, they're like little kids, right? And I'm just being honest, men and women, like little toddlers running around having tantrums because you don't have the skills to communicate. You're like, I feel like this, I'm so mad. And you rightfully can be mad, right? With whatever it is you're going through, but you don't know how to communicate to the masculine. You think, okay, I'm just going to yell at him. I'm just going to cuss him out. I'm going to talk to him like talk to my girlfriends, or how I saw my parents talk to each other. And you think that's just normal, right? This is like how a lot of us were raised. And no, it's like, you got to skill up. I got to actually learn how to communicate with the masculine. And then what will happen, babe, when you learn how to communicate with the masculine, you're going to feel more confident. You're going to feel calm. You're like, I know how to talk to men. I know how to get what I want. I know how to get the results, not from a place of manipulation, but from a place of ease and calmness and just confidence, which is confidence comes from competence. Okay. And of course we have, mastering your communication with the masculine in dating and marriage in the Feminine Energy Academy. So you can check that out today if you want.
And even this week, this Saturday, we're having a masterclass that I'm doing for the ladies. I'll be coaching you ladies and helping you answer any questions you have, but just walking through scenarios, helping you ladies out. This is for the ladies that are in the Feminine Energy Academy. So if you're not in the Feminine Energy Academy, jump in this Saturday. We're going to have a deep coaching session. Right now, we have a
Yes.
7-day trial, so
Free.
you can get in for free, no questions asked. Jump in, get what's needed for you. You can also binge watch while you're
Yeah.
in there. But this Saturday, I'm going to go live with the ladies in the Feminine Energy Academy to do some live coaching.
All right.
So a few questions we have. This is the Miss Perfect 1994. She said, "How do we calm our nervous system
Mm.
the best?" She had another question, but I'll let you answer that.
Okay. This, if you just have one goal for this year, let it be this: mastering your nervous system, ladies. Okay. This was the missing link for me. This is a missing link, I would say, for most women that I've coached. So I started off as a hormone coach. I was a former RN, and I would help women in the area of just healing their hormones and losing weight. Okay. All ages and all the way up to perimenopause, menopause age. And then that naturally brought me into feminine energy and helping women with their dating and marriage lives. And what I've noticed working with thousands of women up to this point, if you have read a lot of self-help books, you've hired dating coaches, matchmakers, you've tried online dating, it's like you know the stuff at a head knowledge, and you still don't seem to be attracting the right type of man, or you just find that you're still anxious and stressed in relationships and dating and marriage. I'm telling you, it's your nervous system. That is the one thing that's controlling everything that most women, myself included, did not understand anything about. And even in our situation, I was able to attract men very easily that wanted to get married. And I attracted my husband very easily who wanted to get married. But because my nervous system wasn't healed, I was still kind of playing in that avoidant pattern. And I attracted a husband, at the time we were just talking, who was still also playing in that avoidant pattern. And so I actually had to step away from that. I detached. I had enough self awareness to know, okay, this is not him, this is me. I need to heal this because everyone around me is mirroring my energy. So I had to step back and I had to work through healing my nervous system. And my nervous system was super dysregulated because I had lost my first marriage. My first husband had passed away from cancer. So even at a head knowledge, even though I wanted to get married, I like logically wanted to get married, my nervous system was fighting me on it. And so what I did is I stepped back and I healed those abandonment wounds. I healed my nervous system, and I reprogrammed my subconscious mind, everything I teach my ladies in the Feminine Energy Academy. And before I was able to even go back on the dating scene, because I took a break from the dating apps, before I even did that, my now husband, came back into the picture. He had done inner healing himself. He had healed his nervous system more. And, we were engaged and married right away. Yeah.
So good. Also says, what about attracting men and staying in relationships, even though even though you're not fully happy with them? He's great, but not financially secure. How can I feel worthy attracting wealthy or successful men? Well, I'll start it
Okay, go
off.
for it, babe.
First, when you're attracting men and staying in relationships, even though you're not fully happy with them, before you even get into a relationship, you want to have what we call is your love list. What exactly are your negotiables, your non negotiables
Yeah.
before you even enter into the relationship? Excuse me.
Yeah.
So you're not wasting time. You understand, like, okay, this is what I desire.
Yeah.
And we're not talking about just anything. Okay, just, okay, he needs to be this tall.
Yeah.
No. What type of qualities does he have? Does he have the husband qualities? And if he meets your love list, then that allows you to move forward and get to know him. But if he doesn't, and if he lets you know, and ladies, please listen right here. A lot of times men will let you know at the beginning they're not looking for a relationship. They just, try to see how things work out. They're willing to date, but it's no pressure on getting married or being exclusive. And a lot of times what happens is you'll get into the relationship with them, the situationship, because you think you're going to change them. You think because you're different, you look good, they've never had anything like yours, that once they get a piece of it, once they get a piece of it, it's going to change their life. And it won't change their life in the way that you're thinking, because men look at all, especially if men aren't in a relationship with you, aren't married to you, aren't dating you for marriage, they look at that as just another piece. So you want to be careful, and you want to really listen to men when they tell you at the beginning they don't want to be with you, or this is where I'm at. This is where I'm at in life. I've been in tough relationships. I just don't want that commitment right now. believe them in that situation, because what happens is you'll end up hurting yourself. But having that love list, and if being a provider protector, okay, someone who's financially able to do it, if they don't meet the list at the beginning,
Yeah.
you have to continue rotationally dating. Not to say that men's pocketbooks don't change, but you're not waiting around for that.
Yeah.
You want to make sure you're not wasting time. They don't meet your love list. Move on, date other men. And then, if they come back into the picture and things are different, you can consider it, but you're not waiting around for them.
That is so
Oh,
good.
excuse me.
Ladies, this is so important because most women, and men too, but we're talking to ladies right now, most women have no clarity on what they want in a husband and a father for their children. So they just end up hooking up with guys that they're physically attracted to, have chemistry with, and next thing you know, you're in a situationship. And then now you're hormonally, energetically bonded to the guy and you can't detach from him. This is what I want you to catch. This is what it's like. Okay. Imagine going to college. You're not enrolled in any program. There's no like end date to getting your degree, and you're just there. You're just there. You're
Yep.
literally just wasting your time. You're hanging out with people because college is a lot of fun, and you're just hanging out. That's exactly what situationships are like. You are literally just there having fun, trauma bonding with the person, and there's no end date. There's no, and even if you're boyfriend and girlfriend, if you don't have a clear timeline on when you're planning on getting married and the man is showing up consistently for you, you are in a situationship, babe. That's what we call a situationship. You are not dating for the purpose of marriage. And the reason why a woman should care about this is you're literally burning through your precious, expensive feminine energy, your hormones, your time, your energy, and you're just wasting money. It's like going to college, spending all this money on tuition, and there's nothing coming from it, right? And I know that sounds harsh, but I love you ladies so much, and I don't want to see my sisters wasting their times anymore, because this is not just about you, it's about your kids. You're wasting your kids' time when you're doing this, right? It directly affects them. And so you have to have that clarity, heal your nervous system so you can rotationally date for marriage, meaning that you can court guys for the purpose of marriage, where you're not sleeping with them, but you're dating with the intention of marriage. And until you heal your nervous system, until you decide you're dating with intention, you're going to stay attached to the wrong guys. So when the guy, like what Coach B was saying, when a guy is like, you know what, I don't want to hold you back. I'm not ready for this right now. I need to take my time. I need to focus on this. If you find yourself still attached to him, babe, that is an anxiousness wound that needs to be healed. That's a childhood abandonment wound, because you're trying to seek validation and closeness from someone that's clearly telling you with their actions that they don't want to marry you. Okay. And I love you so much.
So true. And Charles, definitely, you can put your question in the comment section. We'll try to get to that as well. One second, I'll get that shortly. Thanks so much. We have a comment said, love listening to both of y'all. Healthy conversations aimed at growth. Thanks to you both. We definitely appreciate you for that. So we have a question from Andrea Gonzalez. I believe she's in the FEA. If she's not, it's free to join, jump in. What do you suggest when a male coworker is disrespectful and I'm here in my feminine zone and mastering my nervous system? I couldn't take any more and went off on him last Thursday.
Oh my gosh. Okay. And you know what? So ladies,
Thank you.
this is really, really important. Triggers are just a sign that you need healing in an area. That's it. Okay. So even if it's a jerk at work, if he's constantly triggering you, it's because you have a trigger that can be pulled. Okay. So let me say that again. If there's a jerk at work or any guy and they can trigger you, if anyone can trigger you, it's because you have a trigger that can be pulled. Perfect example. We have trolls that watch us on our live streams and our videos, and they say the most random, weird things because they're just like, they're not mentally right. Right. But it doesn't trigger us because we don't have any triggers in that area. Right. So if you are triggered by something, it's not the person, it's you. So what I would do if I was in that situation, like, okay, this is interesting. This is triggering for me, especially if you went off on him. This is a sign that you need healing in this area, because if it's not the guy at work, it's going to be your husband. It's going to be guys that you date, because men are just not perfect.
Yeah.
You know, they're amazing. We love them so much, but they're not perfect, right? So they might say or do something that triggers a crap out of you. And if your default setting is, I'm just going to go off on him, that's how you destroy
Yes.
relationships. That's what makes men run away.
Yes.
So use this as a sign, babe, that you need healing.
Yes.
And I actually have an audio in the Feminine Energy Academy. It's called Be the Dominant Energy. It's one of the ladies' favorite audios to listen to. And it helps it's that subconscious reprogramming where it helps you be the dominant energy, not in a way where you're dominating people, but in a way that even if you're around negative people that you have to work with or be with, like with family members, it doesn't bother you.
Yeah.
You are just calm, you're regulated, and no one can trigger you.
So good.
Yeah.
And even just adding to it, even that one moment of,
Yeah.
okay, I just couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah.
You have to really re-regulate the nervous system, because not only does it affect your relationship with him, but you're doing it on the job. And then
Yes.
other men are watching.
Yep.
Other men see it. Other men are responding to it. And other men's approach towards you is maybe different now, just because of that one moment. And you could be a great person. You can be a great wife at some point, but you don't want to put yourself in situations where you're having that one moment that can change how you're viewed in that space.
Yeah.
So just real quick, I'll answer the one question from Mari, but Dana in the FEA says, been in the FEA since October 2024.
Wow.
This is the best investment for personal growth and development. Highly recommended. So
Thank you so
thank
much,
you. Yes,
Dina. You're
Dana.
amazing.
Dana's one of our faithful. She's been there
Yes.
since almost the beginning of the FEA, so we definitely appreciate her. We have Mari says, how to have a calm, regulated nervous system during trouble. Also, when I'm facing someone who cheated, was wolf in sheep's clothing, work issues. He practices reverse psychology. So how do you respond to that?
Okay, so ladies, if you are dealing with somebody that is just super toxic, narcissist, using reverse psychology, manipulation tactics, whatever, I want you to know that this is reflecting your energy. It's not that person. It's you, babe. Okay. And I love you so much, but you need to hear this. Until you take accountability and responsibility that people around me are mirroring my energy, it will never change. It'll be the next guy, or it'll be the woman at work, or your mother, or whatever. Okay. So if you tend to have people in your life that are super toxic, instead of getting mad at them, I want you to take a break, detox. You need to actually detox. You actually need to go and heal those old childhood wounds that made it okay for you to tolerate this without having those healthy boundaries where these people don't even have access to your energy, and heal your nervous system so you have the strength and the courage and the worthiness to step away. People don't just get access to your energy, babe. This is what somebody needs to hear this today. People don't just get access to your expensive feminine energy just because they want it, right? No, they don't just get access to your body. They don't just get access to your time and your energy or your mental real estate. No, girl, you got to take your power back. And if you're struggling with that, then it's a sign that you need healing. That's it. And what will happen is you won't attract these people, or even if they come into your world, you're not even going to notice them because you're so focused on the healthy people that are respecting your boundaries. Yeah.
And it's so important to get that nervous system work done, because it becomes your narrative. It becomes a story that you continue to tell and tell over and over. And this is what happens, because faith comes by hearing. So as you continue, and hearing by the word of God, of course, but if you continue to listen to yourself, say the same thing, now you build up faith for it. Now every relationship you get in, you're attracting the same type of person, and you're wondering, how do you get all the narcissists? How do you get all of this? It's because, like you said, your mirror, it's a mirror of who you are in the moment. But also, yes, you're the match, you're the reciprocal match, but also you're speaking this into existence each and every time you tell yourself that story, or even you're printing it out, you're writing it to us. It's a form of deflection in a sense, because you're not able to have that accountability. Like, I'm the common denominator in this. I'm the common denominator, and it's not beating yourself up, but it's just a level of awareness that you're the common denominator. And the only way you're going to get change, again, is that repetition of doing things the right way.
Exactly.
We had one question in here. We had Mari says, "Do you have these classes also for men?" So we do have the Dating for Marriage community, which is our matchmaking community, where I've done a masterclass just for men, a 45-minute masterclass. You can jump in there, listen to the masterclass. We're also in the works over time. We're going to do some
Yeah.
stuff for the men, but right now we have that within the masterclass for you guys.
Yeah. And so maybe me, Adora Support, can post the Dating for Marriage community
Yeah.
link for the guys.
Yeah.
And then you can always message Coach B
Yeah,
too.
message me definitely. So
Yeah.
Sarah Sparkle says, "I'm a housewife, married, but no kids yet. How do I stay active and enjoy myself while also keeping up with the housework and cooking?"
Oh, that's so
Yes.
good. Babe, you're like living your best life. You're a housewife and no kids. Like this is like the best time of your life to
Mm,
just pour into you, actually work on yourself, personal development, and just doing things that light you up, making sure that you're doing things that really help you have your identity.
mm.
And if I don't know if you want to have kids, but if you want to have kids in the future, getting your body ready, getting your hormones ready to have kids, even if you don't want to have kids right now. And just doing things that keep you, giving you your purpose and allowing you to have fun is so, so key.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And we have ladies in the Feminine Energy Academy,
Yeah.
married, no kids, housewives
Yes.
who just enjoy, because being around that, you
Yeah.
pick up on things. A lot of times it's not necessarily for now.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you're not married. I mean, you don't have kids,
Yeah.
but you're listening to, you're getting information. So when you're ready, you know how to respond. And
Yeah.
we talk about that so much, doing the work before. Don't wait until after the fact. And now you're scrambling, trying to figure things out.
Yeah.
Do the work before if you can. So,
Yeah. So good.
another question. Shout out to Ramsha, who's
Hey,
in the
Ramsha.
Feminine Energy Academy as well. We have another question says, "I think I'm a pretty nice woman." This is in response to our "Stop being the nice girl, do this instead." "I think I'm a pretty nice woman. My man says I'm not. LOL. I think the reason why is because I expect respect and I won't settle for less than that." This video is 100% correct, by the way. That is me. It's not beneficial and I'm working on it. Meanwhile, if he's not provider type, I will walk away. So I'll respond to it a little first, and then you can, if you want to add something to it. But what we always say, if what people are saying, what men say to you, men don't, most men, most healthy masculine energy men don't have ulterior motives coming in. Men that aren't connected to you are just going to tell you the truth. And in this situation, when he's saying he doesn't look at you as in your feminine, a woman who's, nice or whatever, you have to look at that and say, is this a pattern or is this something that's just a one-off? Because men look and see, okay, is she attractive? Is she easy to be around? And if you're not checking the boxes, expecting respect is more of a masculine trait. Like, you're going to respect me. It's a way to get respect. That's just by being in your feminine. But you want men to love you and you want to respect the man. You don't want to go around saying, okay, you've got to respect me, because we're looking at you as another man now. Okay, I respect you, but I don't want to be with you. So having your boundaries, having your love list, those are in place so men can understand who you are. You don't have to go around saying you have to do this. If you don't do this, that conversation will never attract a healthy masculine energy man. So really, in this situation for you, it's about focus on really being in your feminine, not worrying about who's respecting you, how men are looking at you. Focus on being in your feminine and you'll attract the right man. But you have to make sure you're softening up and not coming with that mentality, because what happens a lot of times is women will say this, but say, okay, when I talk to a man, I don't talk to him like that. But your energy is saying this.
That's it.
Even though you may not say it out loud to a man, your energy is giving off certain vibes. And men sense that this is what type of energy you're walking in.
Yeah, they can feel your thoughts.
Yes.
Right.
So much.
And ladies, there's a difference between being a nice girl and being kind and being in your soft feminine. Being a nice girl, when we're talking about being a nice girl,
Yes.
we're talking about you're the overgiver. You're abandoning yourself. You tend to overgive with men, with people, with work, and you burn yourself out. When you're in your kind, soft, feminine energy, which men are super attracted to, it's like you have that emotional mastery. You have that calm, regulated nervous system where you're polite. you're sweet no matter what, but you also have boundaries. And you're okay to walk away without being triggered and without being like, oh no, you need to respect me and demanding respect from men. Because that's exactly what Coach B was
Yeah.
saying is that's a masculine energy
Yeah.
trait. I mean, obviously we have to all respect each other. That's not what we're talking
Yeah.
about. But if you're going around saying, no, you need to respect me, you
Yeah.
need to respect me, you sound like a man.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it's really important to know the difference between what the masculine needs and the feminine needs. The masculine is all about respect. Like that's
Mm-hmm.
the biggest need that they have for the masculine energy
Yes.
is that respect and that appreciation. For the feminine, the biggest thing that we need is, in addition to the love, is provision and
Mm.
protection. We need to feel safe. If we as women do not feel safe in our nervous system, we will by default be in our survival mode and go into our masculine energy mode.
Yes.
Yeah.
So good. We have a leader says, I had a man propose me to spoil me without sex, but he doesn't want marriage, just to spoil me for now until I find someone. What should I do? I said,
Mm,
no, I desire marriage. And I'll
yeah.
let you answer that. But really, in these type of
Yeah.
situations, a lot of times it's older men who want to do that for you.
Yeah.
They just want someone to be around
Yeah.
them. They just want to take care of you.
Yeah.
And men that are either, haven't been able to attract women, they just
Yeah.
want something
Yeah.
from you. And for you, you have to keep space for your husband. Getting in casual situationships
Yeah.
just delays the process. So, sometimes it can be challenging depending on what situation you're in financially, but you have to
Yes.
be willing to not go down that road because that doesn't, when men see that, when you're just in these situationships, taking advantage of the situation, that's the way
Mm-hmm.
we see it, then men are turned off by that healthy masculine energy men, and they don't even see you because you're taking. So definitely, just like you said, great job by saying no, you desire marriage, but you want to make sure that you're doing the inner work, that you're not attracting these type of guys.
Yeah, ladies, I understand that, especially if you're a struggling single mom and men are offering you money
Mm-hmm.
and saying all this stuff, I'll take care of you. It can be very tempting
Mm.
to just give into that. But what happens is you're still kind of in a
Yeah.
situationship because they want access to you,
Yes.
right? They want access to your energy, they want access to your time, they just want access to
Yeah.
you, right? And that energetically blocks your husband from finding you.
Mm.
So in those situations, do what I do, what I did, and what I teach my ladies in the Feminine Energy Academy is make God your husband, right? So like Christ calls us his bride, but make Christ your husband. And when you do that, you feel like, okay, God is my provider, God's my sugar daddy, God's
Mm.
going to take care of me and the kids, so I don't have to rely on these randoms,
Yeah.
while I'm waiting for my husband to come into the picture.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're going to answer a few more questions. We got this one from Yolanda. She said, it's been 3 months for me and my boyfriend. He just got his new job. He asked me for money for a business deal.
Oh Lord.
I'm a little scared to do it. How do I tell him no? I don't want to make him mad.
Okay. So there's a lot to unpack here,
Yes.
Yolanda. The biggest thing here is that you're worried about making him mad.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that I would be really highlighting right now is that you're worried. That's that anxious pattern, right? That anxious attachment pattern where you're worried about making people mad, people pleasing, and you're willing to break your own boundaries to make him happy. Second thing is a woman should never ever give a man money.
No.
Ladies, a woman should never ever give a man money,
Mm.
okay? No matter what. So just if he's triggered and mad about that, that's okay. He's in his
Mm.
feminine receiving mode, and that makes you the masculine,
Yeah.
right? So I don't know. You can
Yeah.
add to that,
But
babe.
he should be triggered and mad, but he also needs to go out and make it happen. Men
Yeah.
are about coming up with ideas, making things happen. Because what happens in this situation is you start giving him money. It never stops. It starts off as a business deal. Next thing you know, he has this other
Yeah.
opportunity. Next thing, his tires, he needs new tires. And now you're taking care of him. So it's not a relationship
Yeah.
when a man is asking you for money. It's just a situationship. You may be having sex, you may be spending time with each other, but he's looking at you as an opportunity.
Yes.
And when you've been together for 3 months, of course, he just got a job, so definitely congratulations on that. But if men don't have things together within their life, most men aren't even made to just want to have a relationship. It's
Yeah.
like I need to get things together before I'm able to do something serious. They'll have situationships in the meantime, but most healthy masculine energy men are like, okay, I need to handle my business Once I handle my business, I'm in a position to take care of you, position to have a wife, because you're not just dating. You're not just dating because, okay, we like each other, we like having fun. No, healthy masculine energy men are dating for marriage, are being serious with you. So they want to make sure they're straight financially. If they're not, then a lot of times they're just playing games. They're just, okay, this is someone who can help me in this area. They're looking to see how they can get help instead of how you can,
Yeah.
instead of how they can help you. So really be careful with that. It
Yeah.
usually takes healthy masculine energy men a month, you know, what I say, 30 to 90 days before they know if they want to be with you.
Yeah.
If it's been 30 to 90 days and they're just getting a job, and I'm not saying like everybody's in a different situation, so it's no knock, but he's not in a position to be in a relationship with you right now. And you don't want to get emotional with it. Say, I like him. You know, he's so nice. I don't want to make him feel bad. You know, he's down on his luck right now. I just want to be there for him. You'll be there for him forever. It'll be 3 to 5 years, and you know he'll be living with you. He'll
Mhm.
under your lease. You'll be taking care of him. Everything's in your name, and then you'll be looking up like, what do I do?
Mm.
So pull out as quickly as you can, because he might be a great person, but based on what you're saying, it doesn't sound like he's ready to be in a relationship.
Ramsha, who's in the FEA, has a really good
Yes,
question.
go ahead. You got it.
So she was like, what are some good questions that you can ask a man to see if they're going to be a good father? Okay, so one thing that we teach our ladies in the FEA is that you're choosing a man based on how he's going to be as a husband and a father to your kids or your future kids. This is really important for you ladies, okay? Because you might think he's amazing, but you're like, oh, I would never want him. I don't want my kids to turn out like him, right? So that's a big clue for you that he's probably not good. He's not going to be a good father, right? So you just got to ask yourself a couple things. First of all, would I want my kids to turn out like him? That's probably one of the biggest questions you can ask yourself. Would I want my kids, if you have boys, do you want them to turn out like him? Is he a good role model? Okay, that's one thing. Another thing you can look at, sorry, baby, I just scratched you with my claws.
I know.
Um, another thing is just observing. So with Coach B, I never asked him these types of questions. I was observing. Okay. So you're looking at how they interact with kids. Do they have nieces and nephews? So one of the things I asked Coach B right away, I can't remember how I asked, but or maybe he just brought it up where he was talking about his nieces and nephews, and he was talking about how he would fly around the country to go visit his nieces and nephews. He was at their births, he was at their graduations, he was, spending time with them. Right away, that tells me a lot that okay, he values that relationship. Another thing is they like to coach. Now, I'm not saying all men do this, but in Coach B's situation, he loved to coach kids in basketball. He was doing that in his spare time. I was like, this is perfect. Okay. So just look for signs that they like to be around kids. They like to coach, they volunteer. But the biggest thing is just looking, do you want your kids to turn out like him? Because they will.
Yes. And to your point, never base it solely on what they're saying in their response.
Yeah.
Just watch what they're doing, because, of course, men can tell you what you want to hear,
Yeah.
but what they're doing doesn't lie. So if they're
Yeah.
really active, and a lot of men that have their own business, that are entrepreneurs, do a lot of volunteering. You
Yeah.
know, they're volunteering in different capacities. So if they're giving of themselves
Yeah.
as people, of course, with kids, but if they're just givers of their time, if there's someone who, okay, they're not just all about themselves, that's a good sign that they could potentially be good fathers, because it's men that I've coached and even friends that I have
Yeah.
that are not married, that don't have kids. And this is
Yeah.
men in their 40s, business owners, but they do so much volunteering. They coach, and you would never know the position they're in financially, because they're just walking around
Yeah.
jeans and a t-shirt, but coaching kids
Yeah.
and giving their time away.
And I'm going to throw this in as a disclaimer. This is not for Ramsha, but for the single moms in here, you still have to be really careful with who you allow around your kids. Okay. And there's a lot of like pedophiles that target single moms. Like, this is well known, well documented that they will target single moms. Okay. So it's not that I want you to be in fear, but I want you to use wisdom and don't just allow people access to your children. Okay. Please.
Yes.
But a lot of times when men coach in sports and, they're part of organizations, a lot of times they do background checks on these
Yeah,
guys.
definitely.
You should do background checks on these guys before you allow any men near your children. Okay.
So good. So Lolita says, what about doing business with men just in general? Um, what about doing
Oh,
business
yeah.
in general with men and providing a service like marketing?
Oh, because we were talking about never give money to a man.
Okay.
Okay, so if you're like working, like this is not a romantic situation.
Yeah.
Okay, you're not sleeping with the guy. This is not.
Exactly.
This is just purely business, and obviously you just treat it like a normal business deal, right? We're not saying never do business with men. You can do business with men, but don't mix that pleasure with that, because that's what's going to blur the lines, and they don't look at you. You're not really in your feminine, right? If you're paying him for a service in business.
So
Right.
true. So true. So, any other questions that you wanted to go over? I know we're right at that. We're right at that hour. So, what do you say?
Okay. So the biggest thing I want you ladies to catch, okay, what we talked about today, until you heal your nervous system, your default is going to be that hyper triggered, anxious, or complete shutdown mode. And you're not going to be able to detach from the wrong guys. You're going to be doing all this crazy stuff, staying in situationships with them, giving them money, hoping and praying that, they'll change their mind, which they don't, wasting your time until you do the things that we're talking about. And one of the biggest things that we talked about today, that's going to help reprogram your nervous system, this is based on actual neuroscience, is that repetition. So that repetition of what it is that you actually desire, the secure, healthy relationship, the secure, healthy, amazing man that wants to provide for you and spoil you and allow you to live your best life, because everyone around you is mirroring your energy. So if you want help with this, okay, and you want to go really deep on that, in that reprogramming, that subconscious reprogramming, I encourage you to jump in the FEA. You can try it out for free for 7 days. You can do brainwashing for 7 days for free and see if it's a good fit for you. And I promise you, you're going to see a shift in your energy right away.
Yeah, so
Yes.
definitely this Saturday as well,
Yeah.
we have the master class where I'll be
Yes.
coaching you ladies.
Yeah.
Any questions you ladies have, definitely jump in, but you must be in the
Yeah.
Feminine Energy Academy. So jump in. It's free right now. I see we have a few more questions. Definitely jump in. We'll answer
Yeah.
those questions in the Feminine Energy Academy. The link is below.
Yes.
We appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for jumping on today.
Yeah, so if you guys have actual questions that we didn't get to answer here, when you jump in the FEA and the Feminine Energy Academy, you're going to get a private message from me asking you, hey, what's going on? You let me know everything that you're going through right now and what you're calling in, things you want to work on, and I'll be able to help you get started right away.
Yeah.
Okay, we love you, ladies.